Julius Evola's Ride the Tiger, a survival guide for the soul in a dying world. You're not tired, you're spiritually starved. And Evola saw it coming. You scroll, you rage, you ache, not for more noise, but for silence that means something, for truth that burns, for a reason to stand still when the world demands you run. They told you to adapt. Evola told you to transcend. But how do you ride a tiger without being devoured? That's what we're here to answer. Let's begin. Part 1, The World That Broke You. Modernity promised you everything. Freedom, progress, belonging. But what it delivered was noise without meaning, sex without intimacy, power without purpose. Julius Evola looked at the post-war world of 1961 and saw the same thing you feel now. A civilization collapsing not from war, but from within. He called it the Age of Dissolution, the Kali Yuga, an epoch where sacred values rot and every hierarchy turns upside down. And his answer wasn't to fight it, it was to ride it. He wrote, "One must ride the tiger and wait until it is tired, because some beasts aren't meant to be slain. Some must be outlasted." Part 2, The Secret of the Differentiated Man. Evola didn't write for the masses. He wrote for you, the one who never fit in, who always knew something was wrong, who stayed awake in a world that begged you to sleep. He called you the differentiated man, a soul set apart, not by choice, but by nature. You were born into a time where truth is mocked and strength is called toxic, where you're told to choose sides in a circus. But Evola whispers, don't pick a side. Step outside the tent. Be in the world, but never of it. This isn't indifference. It's apolitia, a sacred withdrawal. The same fire that kept Stoics calm in prisons. The same detachment that let Arjuna draw his bow in battle. And here's the twist. Detachment isn't escape, it's control. Part 3, Why Nihilism Can Liberate You. You've stared into the void, you've tasted nihilism. You've asked the question that makes lesser men tremble. What if nothing matters? But here's the secret Evola offers. Nihilism is not the enemy. It's the clearing of the field, the fire that burns down illusions. And once the fire's out, only what's eternal survives. He wrote, having destroyed the world of false values, we are forced to ask, and now what? Most stop there. You don't. That's where your path begins, where you choose to live, not because life comforts you, but because you command it to mean something. You don't need belief. You need being. Evola doesn't offer therapy. He offers a mirror. Part 4, Masculinity, Detachment, and the Sacred Fight. You were taught to be soft, or hard in the wrong ways. You were told masculinity is obsolete, or worse, dangerous. Evola disagrees. But he's not talking about shallow dominance. He's talking about esoteric masculinity, the kind that builds temples instead of empires. The kind that holds a boundary when no one else dares. That speaks little, but acts with precision. That feels pain but doesn't flinch. He names it ascetic warriorhood, not a soldier of the state, but of the soul, he wrote. He who acts without desire is invulnerable. You don't fight for approval, you fight to become. And your greatest weapon? Detachment, the ability to act without addiction to the outcome, to move through chaos untouched, to touch the fire and walk away unburned. Part 5. Culture is the collapse, but you are not. Every song screams. Every screen sells. Every story circles back to the same message: consume, react, forget. But what if art used to point upward? What if music was once a ladder to the sacred? What if you could stop dancing to their rhythm and create your own? Evola saw culture not as entertainment, but as ritual, as mirror, as test. He wrote, "The most extreme forms of modern art may serve a liberating function for those who do not succumb to them." You can look, but don't kneel. You can enter the city, but never let it enter you. And yes, this means resisting the temptation to numb yourself, not out of fear, but because your clarity is sacred. Part 6. What love and death really ask of you. Love is no longer sacred. It's a transaction or a performance. But Evola asks, can you love without needing to possess? Can you meet the feminine without being devoured or devouring? He calls you to sacred polarity, to become the mountain to her river, to be still where the world flows. And death, that final tiger, you don't run. You don't bow, you meet it standing. He wrote, "The man who has realized the absolute self does not fear death. He chooses it when the time is right." That doesn't mean despair. It means freedom. The freedom to die as you lived, unconquered. Part 7. How to ride the tiger in real life. So how do you live this? Not in theory, but here. Now you build your center. You train your body. You cut out the noise. You find moments of stillness. You speak less. You mean more. You don't preach. You live. You don't crave applause. You act in silence. You don't seek to escape the collapse. You walk through it. Maybe you journal your code. Maybe you fast once a month. Maybe you train at dawn. Maybe you build your own quiet order of friends who still remember honor. But above all, you don't break. Not because you're unbreakable, but because you chose to stand. Even if no one else does. Final reflection, the long night and the flame. You were not born into the golden age. You were born into the night. But the night is where the stars speak. Evola wrote this not to fix the world, but to find those who could survive it. Not by hiding, but by becoming the kind of person no age can defeat. He wrote, "It is a matter of being, absolutely, oneself." You've always known the rules were broken. You just didn't have the words. Now you do. You don't need to save the world. You just need to remember who you are. The tiger rages, but you ride. Subscribe. Not to this channel. Subscribe to yourself. If you're ready, write in the comments, "I choose my peace."